Welcome, everybody, to Sonderling Inc. episode 38. I believe it's 38. My name is Sam Lender, and I have some players.
I am Eastbourne, and I'm playing the Goblin Wizard Striggs.
My name is Holocall, and I'm playing the human fighter, also called Holocall.
My name is Inter, and I'm playing a human rogue called Horgold Wolfs.
I am Surtur, playing the Kobold Ranger named Grunto.
All right. So some stuff happened last time. You learned some things. What happened last time?
Last time, we started off by fighting some zombie holders.
Yep.
Not as frightening as one would first assume, but still kind of frightening. We searched a temple, found lots of tied up zombies and stuffs. And we found the BBEG, Big Bad Evil Guy, Abu Al-Fahad, finishing some sort of ritual. We fought Abu Al-Fahad. I think we mostly trounced him.
You won at least.
Yeah, we won. So he's re-dead, at least temporarily.
Temporarily discorporated.
We've figured out what's been happening to the months. Abu Al-Fahad is feeding the good goddesses that we want to evil gods/goddesses.
We're currently holding one.
Of each?
Yeah. Yeah. One dead good one and one alive evil one. And that's about it. Except I think Striggs learned something after the session had concluded.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wanna? Oh. We basically learned that there were these gems, and if we can infuse them with someone's conscience and a purpose, it would kind of become a god of that purpose. Also, that already happened to the evil one, and I'm holding that one, and my health is a little bit on the low side because of that permanently. Well, until I leave it.
Yeah. You have the heart of an evil god in one hand and the heart of a dead god in the other. Well, I don't know who has actually the heart of the dead god, but
Oh, it was Holic.
I think Striggs picked up the dead one, and Gruntos picked up the live one.
That might be.
Or rather, the Striggs has the evil one, and Gruntos has the empty one.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. All right, so you guys are currently at the site of the, like, you're still there. You have many options. What are you planning on doing?
Finding him again, I guess, to the next temple.
Well, apparently, he probably needs some time to first place, like, regain himself, and second time, he probably has to get some time to get to the new place and to set up his spell, basically, to drain the energy. So it's probably not a now thing that we have to do. It will never hurt to prepare, of course. But we also had this little issue to deal with in the Langshank Forest for the Spy Master in Gartuk.
We are next to it, so why not?
Okay, so you guys are gonna head into the Lakshank Forest. Earth knows this area. I was hoping he'd be here. Hopefully he'll be around shortly. Actually, could somebody ping him? But so he knows at least the generic, like, where to find basically two things, because his parents were basically the guardians of the forest edge. He could either lead you to those people, or he could lead you around those people on foot. Like, he knows their like the way they do things. So do you guys want to get led right to one of them, or do you want to get through the patrols and into the forest itself?
Basically, it boils down to do we want to get them to notice us to send a message, or do we want to try and get as close as possible before we get caught?
I vote for the last one, but hey, I'm a rogue.
Getting caught is not the best way to introduce ourselves and our mission.
Yeah, we want to bring peace, so it might be easier to go the legal route.
Okay. So, actually walking to the forest edge is, let's see. So you can walk on foot just a little bit slower than your ship travels. But that's as a bird flies. Since you're on the ground, it's a little bit longer than that. So, you think you're from Striggs's map. You guys think you're about a week walk. It would take about a week to get to the forest edge. There's faster ways to travel. I don't know if they're not necessarily safer. Because you have a ferry ring right here that leads back to a Aurora. Because she's right on the other side. And then it's like a week to the forest edge from here.
Having the ship as a base of operations could be handy. But we had to fly it down again.
Yeah, so the ship is still up next to Kartuk, or near Kartuk. So getting there and then getting it, like, getting there would be a measuring tool. If you wanted to stop center. If you wanted to say walk to Piroshkazlo, would be about 2 weeks by foot, and then you could teleport from there. If you don't want to take the thing, you could teleport from there to Kartuk. Takes no time at all, essentially. And then from Kartuk to the Lakshank Forest is about 5 weeks travel by boat.
It's quite a long time.
Remember, we don't have a boat. We can use the teleportation circles to get back.
Let's just go in and buy food. I got provisions left and stuff like that.
All right, you're gonna walk to Lakshank or to Piroshkazlo?
Depends what the rest will want.
I would say Langshanks, because we need to be there to mediate.
Lakshank, but do we want to find people fast or get farther?
I mean, Langshank has people as well to find.
Right, it's full of elves
They
who don't
may have
necessarily
been
like
involved.
intruders.
Aber they may have methods of faster traveling that we could use if we can somehow persuade them that we are on a mission that benefits them. I think.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Do we know what kind of gods the elves generally worship?
Like most people in this world, they worship pretty much all of them. Farmers would tend to worship the bounty ones. Bread makers tend to worship the hearth and home one more, but um any one of the gods is as likely to be the main worship for any person as any other of the gods. It's kind of like think the old Greek and Roman pantheons where you weren't a Zeus wasn't your god and you worshipped Zeus only unless you were they worship, depends on what they want. What you go to the god that has the thing you want and worship them for to get what you want, sort of thing.
Since we do have a bargaining chip, the empty crystal thing, the ruby.
Don't want that to be public.
It doesn't have to be.
Well, if you want to bargain with it,
It doesn't have to be public. I don't know if you know what bargaining means, but it's like to a specific person, preferably someone of high order. But yeah,
All right.
I don't care either way. I'll follow you guys.
So you guys head out. The first like 2 days of traveling is this like nasty dead swamps are like area of life, and in most of you were at the Great Fen, where there's like it's you smell the rot, but it's teeming with insect and that sort of life. This place is got it's just dead, mired, like smell of rotted plant, and just really unpleasant to travel through. As you guys are walking, like you can almost sense this air of death around you. You don't hear insects, you don't hear birds. Man, for the like the first night is just dead quiet. Other than the breeze whistling through like dead tree branches and the dead grasses, you don't hear anything. By the time you get to the second night, it is like less oppressive. You start seeing things like corpse beetles and other insects that you associate, like flies, like mobs of black house flies and things you associate with like dead, rotted things around, but they're alive. By the third day, you're back into it's more like normal seeming like plains. Like the days just seem brighter, the nights seem calmer. And as you're walking, you're getting like progressively more and more forested land. So you're not quite in Lakshank proper yet, but by day 3, this like a really light forest where there are, or at least like were at some point, you think, farm fields here. There's like kind of plainsy, grassy lands, like you see roaming herd animals eating, but there's also like there'd be a cope of trees that are that come up on the horizon, and then they just become progressively more dense. And then by day 4, you guys are in light forest, and Earth tells you basically that any time now there might be patrols around. He's going to keep his eyes out for them. And to just verify, he says, make sure that this is what we want. We want to actually just run right into a patrol and then get captured and talk our way out of getting either ejected from the forest or murdered on the spot.
Okay.
I'll send my owl up as well to scout around for patrols.
Okay. Give me your owl's perception. And what is its passive?
Passive is... perception is wisdom.
Right.
So that is 14 passive.
Okay, 14 passive. Go ahead and roll a perception check for your birdie too, please. All right. What your owl passes back to you, because it can fly high up, it can kind of see all of the ground that you covered. It feeds back to you images behind you of like spreading death and rot. And you can kind of almost see the landscape changing as this infection or this plague behind you spreads out. It's about, you figure, about a day and a half. There's no like clear line between so about 30 miles ish from the center, or from the temple location, is kind of this end of this kind of dead, rotted zone. It's not a hard line in the thing, but you can like see that a definite change in landscape. Other than that, doesn't the owl doesn't really see anything, like doesn't see any movement or other people around.
Is the rot like kind of following us? I'm kind of asking, like, is it part of the thing that I'm holding?
Um,
And if Inter's owl or Inter relays it, or go
okay.
get info.
So as far as you can tell, you are outside the area of corruption. And it's not, and the owl doesn't see like a definite growth of it in the direction you guys are traveling, compared to any other area.
Great.
All right. I want to grab Hollick and pull him into the sideboard for a quick minute. All right. So you basically call out to Aurora in your sleep. And she is, I guess, waiting impatiently. Like, you get the sense that she's waiting impatiently. And you get a distinct impression that she would like to, she wants the thing from you. So she wants, you're not 100% sure what she wants from you, because she's not like speaking clearly to you, but there's like an expectation from your dream. She wants something from you.
Okay. something.
And you get the impression of several fairy rings within a couple days' travel of where you are. The one behind you, she kind of, like, your mind kind of repels away from it. But in front of you, near where Earth is saying there's probably a patrol, you know of a fairy ring location that is inactive but could be activated. And then you sleep through the rest of the night, and it is a sleep of conflicted emotions, both like almost madness but not quite, and anger and grief and hope, and kind of this tumult of emotions. And you think that they're just kind of the remnants of your contact with Aurora.
Okay.
All right, back we go. So you guys are about, you guys think you're about a day away from the nearest elf patrol in this part of the forest. Earth is starting to see like indicators on trees. Ranger, could I get from you a nature roll, survival? I don't remember what the skill's called in 5th ed.
Those both tracking is usually survival, and just figuring out the nature is nature.
Survival then.
Usually.
Nature's intelligence is a knowledge roll.
Right. So you don't find anything in particular. You see what he's pointing out as he's pointing it out, but you're not like finding tracks or anything like that. And yeah, you guys travel for another day. By my count, it's now the 5th carnelian. And you like up ahead. Actually, everybody, what's your passive perception?
10.
10.
16.
There we go.
15.
All right, Hollock and Grunthos. You guys see them before they arrive. There are definitely elves closing in on you from a couple different directions. If you continue the path you're going, like up about 50 yards from where you're at currently, is like the place they're going to ambush you. It is like a perfect place for there's a couple elves there with bows for them to shoot you with arrows, and they got, looks like there might be some like sort of trap set up. Striggs and Horgold, you guys are walking blithely along, not noticing this.
Great.
Gruntos is yanking on shirts or jackets or whatever, trying to
Robe.
hint at slow down, stop.
All right, you guys get the.
I'll stop.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not hard to convey that.
Ambush up ahead, and I start pointing at the spots where I've seen.
Okay. You guys have a chance. You can get the drop on these guys. They've noticed you, but they don't appear to have noticed you noticing them. If that makes sense.
It makes sense, but funny sentences.
They know we're here. They don't know we know they are.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's a trap up ahead?
They're gonna ambush us, basically.
Oh, an ambush. Okay, so not a physical trap.
No, not a physical trap, but just a
Maybe.
like little clearing where somebody could attack you with bows and arrows and similar like ranged implements, and you would have a hard time shooting them back, or even seeing where the arrows are coming from.
I kind of wanna just wear off and try to circle around, and not necessarily attack, but not walk into a firing line.
We can
You
walk.
basically
into
want to
a
walk
line.
behind one and tap one on the shoulder and say, "Hey, we just want to talk," or nah.
Something like that.
I pick up a cube from my backpack, and I say to the party, "We can walk into a firing line."
Well, I mean, we don't want to make enemies.
No, I can't make enemies with these. I think.
I can make a box. Not so much enemies.
Wait, how long does that box hold again?
Bookmarks.
Hmm?
Let me see. You got 36 charges. 1 minute at least.
That's not a lot.
In a fight, that's a lot.
I was gonna say
Yes, but we're trying to convince them to not attack us.
it lasts a minute per charge, right?
Oh,
Yes.
So
Oh.
up to a half an hour.
okay.
Well, I need to charge it with 2 charges
Alright.
at a time.
Right.
So that's a little bit less, but it's
Per day, I presume.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm up for anything.
well, stand
Looks
close
like
then.
we're
I'll stand
walking in.
All right, so you guys get all grouped up real tight together, and then Horgold presses the appropriate face just as these elves like arrows leap from their bows. You mark it as non-living matter.
Yeah.
All right, so the arrow hafts all like, or the arrowhead, the whole thing, they like just clatter against this this invisible wall around you guys, and you realize that there's like Holic and Grunthos, and then you guys, once they pointed out, you guys spotted like 3 or 4 of these elves. There were like 15 arrows that launched and arrived. And so there's this clatter of arrows against the cube, and then it's just dead silent. And then a few moments later, another round of arrows flies out of the forest, hits it again. And it hits the cube again, and then there's just silence again.
I yell out, "Excuse me, we're not really here to fight. Hello?"
I do that in Elven as well.
I'll do it in common because I don't know Elven. Oh wait, I do know Elven. I'll do it in Broken Elven. Because I'm not used to it.
There's silence. Give me perception checks, everybody, please. So Grunthos, well, actually, they should do a stealth roll. Never mind.
Can I make their stealth something? A 7 on the dice?
You don't know to expect this, so no.
Right. Okay. Good.
None of you notice it, but there's this like thump as a like a hand with a dagger in it, like punches against the wall from behind you guys, and there's just this hand now through, because living matter can pass through. There's this knife on the ground behind you. There's this hand shoved up to about elbow. The elves like sleeves all bunched up and bound up against them. And they're just looking at like at their arm in confusion, and you hear it like swear in Elven. What in the hell is going on?
I make a
I'll-
big smile and wave and say, "Hey, thanks for getting close so we can talk."
I grab his arm.
So you grab her arm. You realizing that it's feminine at this point. And she looks down at you. Are you like shaking her hand, sort of grabbing her arm, or are you trying to restrain her?
Both. A real tight shake, like people competing on how hard you can squeeze the other guy's hand. Basically trying to hold.
Give me a strength check, please. Oh, okay. Yep.
Oh,
So you hold on to their hand, and there's like looking at you in confusion as they're like they like try to push their other hand against this like invisible wall because they can kind of tell where it's at, and that hand again passes through the cube and up to their other like sleeve, bunching up. They're like they're off balance. They don't have a grip, and she's like struggling against you, and yells, everybody who can hear. Everybody who can speak Elven recognizes. She's like, Sarge, what's going on here? These people are Sarge, need help. And so
I'll yell out in my broken Elvish, "Don't worry, we're not here to harm anyone."
Yeah, Sarge, come help her.
can you speak Elven too?
Yep, I know Elvish.
Okay. Fair enough. So she's struggling against you. You've like put your boots up against the edge of the thing because your boots aren't living, which gives you like lots of leverage, and she hasn't quite figured out how to do this yet. And a male elf, probably in his 30s. Well, if he was a human, would be in his 30s. Elf that would be in the
20s or something.
120, 150 range. Strolls out of the forest looking at you in like what's the proper word? Not bemusement, like confusion and, well, I guess bemusement is close. Like confusion and amusement at his underlings struggles, and he's like, "All right, let her go. I guess we're talking. Unless I want to get naked, and I don't really want to get naked."
I'll let go.
She falls over, lands on her butt, and like scurries into the forest, and you almost immediately lose her. Like she is as good at hiding in this sort of land as you are hiding from your prey in the area around Orkland. Or maybe not quite as good, but still pretty good.
Wouldn't expect anything less from basically army elite.
Ourselves.
All right. You've walked into our forest. You seem to be prepared to meet us, and then you decide to talk with us rather than proving that you can retaliate. And the fact that the fact that you didn't cut my subordinate's arm off when she stuck it through that whatever you have tells me that you're not exactly hostile. So, why are you here?
Well, we heard some stories that there was a little problem, or well, that you kind of wanted to head to Kartuk to take over, at least convergence for now.
His eyes
Haven't
grow
confirmed.
bigger. You have a story to tell, and I
You?
really want to hear it.
Well, hey, maybe we went to get some of your superiors on in it as well, or do you want us to explain it like 20 times? I tried to say it as non-threatening as possible with broken Elvish.
All right. So you want to talk to my bosses, and you
Oh,
have
you can join in.
information that they will want to hear how you found out about. And we apparently can't shoot you to solve this problem. And I since you want to talk to my bosses, I don't think you really want to just leave us alone. Right.
I mean, you could take us there. It would be
Yeah.
easier for both of us, right?
Yeah. Follow me. I don't know. I don't get paid enough for this. He's like rubbing his eyes.
You want to get paid a little bit more for it, and I throw him some like four brass.
So you toss 4 brass that bounce off the inside of this cube.
All right. Well, we'll give it to you when we get there, and I'll pick it back up.
He looks at you almost aghast. He's like, if I wanted your money, I'd take it off your corpse.
Well,
as you can see, that's not really a thing you can do easily.
you tried.
I didn't
You
say it
failed.
would be. I didn't say it would be easy.
Can I dimension door to him, to behind him, and then say no, it wouldn't, and then dimension door back? 2 spell slots, of course.
So yes, you can dimension door behind him. The back part might be a challenge.
What I can see, right?
Well, yes. What I'm saying is you don't know exactly what's all around you, but I'm telling you as a player,
right.
You absolutely could dimension door behind him. I would give them reactions to react to that before you necessarily had a chance to get back. I would at least give them a chance. So, all right. So, are you going to do that?
I'll do that.
All right. So, you do that. You say your little glib thing. Give me from your current location in Eastbot, you arrive. Bring along objects as long as their weight does not exceed what you can carry.
Yeah,
also,
especially.
Also bring up 1 willing creature. All right, so you dimension door behind him. He turns in surprise. I'm going to give the people around him a reaction roll, which they fail horribly. All right, so yes, you absolutely can do that. So
there you go.
You caught them with their pants down. And they're like elves moving out of the forest into this like little clearing that you guys are in. And there's like, you guys have seen like 20 of them. He says to one of actually to the gal who disappeared into the forest, he says, "All right, tell them we're coming." And she nods and lopes off into the distance. He's like, "All right, follow me." And he turns around and starts walking in the direction that his subordinate like loped off into. How long are you going to keep up the cube? Because it's not obvious. I mean,
I don't know how long this trip is gonna be, so
No.
I'm gonna drop it out of goodwill.
Looking around, you don't think that there are any mages in this group. They all look like rangery types, maybe some druids, some rangers, people who aren't necessarily as adept with magic. So you're not sure that they completely understand what caused this. And they stay, 10 feet away from you. I'm gonna give them. Okay, I'm gonna give them a perception roll. Probably not good enough. All right, so you guys are led off through the forest. It quickly, like, the paths that you guys are on now, they move from like well trodden, or not well trodden, but like large animal paths like deer and cow and sort of, large grazer paths. And you quickly move on to like smaller animal paths, still passable, but a lot more hidden, like rabbit and that sort of thing. And you guys walk for probably a good 6-8 hours at this point, and the elves are giving you like distance. And he's like, all right, hope you guys, if you really do truly want to see my bosses, we're gonna have to keep walking for a while longer. I hope you guys are up to it. The group of elves around you has dwindled over time, and you're now left with the sergeant and probably 4 or 5 other elves. He
I
says,
guess we'll follow him.
I was gonna say, if I wasn't, if I was gonna stop, this would be the place to stop for the night. But how desperate are you to see somebody who's more important than me?
Do we want to continue, or do we just want to rest for the night?
I don't mind. Either.
Let's keep going.
He nods. All right. You guys travel on. Those of you, actually, almost all of you have dark vision of some sort or other. The elves don't produce any light.
I'll get my lantern out.
Okay. And about 4 hours into the night, it's rapidly approaching midnight. You guys are getting tired. Your escorts are as well. You can tell that from their like how fast they're walking, their bearing. And you guys hear there's like a call in some sort of dialect of Elven you guys aren't as familiar with. Still can recognize it, but it's like accented strangely, and it's basically who goes there, and the sergeant calls out, it's Sergeant Eastland with guests. And the call returns. All right, pass on through. And you guys pass forward and arrive at a camp of sorts. This is it's like tents and so on and so forth, but these are not like temporary structure tents. These are semi-permanent. This place, like once you're into this little clearing, it's like 4 or 5 tents, but they're heavy, and it would take a whole crew of people to put one up or take one down. Well trodden ground. There are very low banked fires in deep pits, so that the light or the glow from the embers doesn't carry out very much. And the scout that went off ahead of you guys comes up to Sergeant Eastland and says, the captain's asleep. Should I wake him up? Half the question, and Eastland kind of looks at you guys, like, gives you an eyebrow.
We don't want a grumpy captain, so I think if you can
I'll-
find us a place to rest, then we'll rest and wait for.
If you have an open area, I can make one place to rest. You have like a 10-foot radius open space somewhere that we can use.
He kind of points off to the side. There's a little, like, probably marching ground or a little gathering area where the ground is pretty well flattened down. Looks like the sort of place that would be where people gather up to get assignments or find out what they're doing, and then would spread out from there.
Okay. Well,
all right, so
can I put alarm on the front door? I'll
okay.
make it like not transparent. I'll make it like a little color of the forest, a little bit greenish, brown.
Transfer from the inside. All right, so you guys, you pop open this dome. Creatures object can move through it freely. Other creatures are barred from passing through it. Okay, so you cast it. I'm assuming you're excluding the elves from it.
Yep.
The sergeant looks suitably impressed because you'd been casting. You showed off casting earlier. Looks like moderately impressed with the amount of spellcasting you're just doing. Kind of shakes his head. And he goes, "All right, Navi. We'll let the captain know when he wakes up in the morning." And he and the scout head off in another direction, kind of behind the other tents. The rest of his guards, like the people who the rest of the people who came with you, like post up around the tent, around the outside of the hut, basically completely circling it. But they look like they're resting at this point.
I will go and rest as well. Can I, before I go to rest, like check out the little gem thingy, the onyx thing? Snowflake onyx.
It's yes, Snowflake Onyx.
Yep.
So
Can I try and like cast some like weird spells on it to try and minimize its either
no,
emission in general?
Snowflake Obsidian. Let me see if I
Oh,
can find a
obsidian.
picture.
Okay.
Snowflake Obsidian. There we go. That's.
I kind of want to try and find a way to like minimize its effects on my surroundings. I don't care much about it on myself, but
Okay, so what spells do you have access to? There's a picture of some Snowflake Obsidian. It's really cool stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Counter spell, dispel magic, glyph of warding, a large reduce might be useful. Arcane lock, mage armor. I don't know if that would be anything with it. Identify, floating disc, but that would only be below it. Alarm, shield. That's about it. Could be useful.
You don't have anything useful then. You can start researching this thing to try to figure out a way to contain it or reduce it, but it's going to take some amount of research.
Understandable.
I tell you what, so we'll make it a extended task. You can roll once per day of like 8 hours of looking at this thing. You need to get 5 successes before you get 3 failures to be a DC 15 Arcana check. And if you get 5 successes before 3 failures, you succeed at learning a new spell that can help contain this. If you fail it, you basically went down the wrong path and have lost all previous research, but you can try again.
Does divination work on this? Because I have a 10 and Arcana is 7 plus 7 or
So-
plus 8 right now.
So, yes.
Might not. I'm just
Yeah, so your divination
That's-
would absolutely give you you can use that as one, one of your daily ones of those as one of your rolls.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, like I said, once per day of studying this.
And I assume it's not right now, right? Because it's less than 8 hours rest that we're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable.
All right. So you guys rest through the remainder of the night. It's not really long enough for a full like recovery rest, but any short rest type things you want to do, go ahead. So Grunthos, you find yourself into this what is the proper, so Ruby is it's a red, not Ruby programming language. It is corundum. So you're gazing into this clear corundum stone. And you find yourself like as you stare at it, you start understanding it more in a weird way. And the longer you stare at it, the like more deeply you understand this stone. And those of you around Grunthos, you see him looking at this pale, like pale clear, there's a very clear stone. You see Grunthos like staring at it. What color's your skin, Grunthos? Your scales?
Reddish brown.
So as you guys are see Grunthos staring deeply into this stone, you see it start taking on a very faint red hue, and you start seeing the darkest bits of his scales start just ever so slightly lightening in color.
Can I detect Todd to make sure that nothing's going wrong?
Read the thoughts of certain creatures when you cast a spell. So the surface thoughts you're getting from Grunthos as he's doing this is like, I don't know how to put it. There's kind of an attunement going on between the way Grunthos's mind is working and the way the object in his hands is working. And you're not sure if this object in his hand is changing to be more like Grunthos or if Grunthos is changing to be more like the object in his hand. You're definitely detecting that the object in his hand is thinking, but you're not it's not a coherent thought.
Okay, so it's like a attunement thing. And from Legends lore, I noticed that attuning to this basically stores the soul into the stone, right?
Yes.
Can I try to like get him to realize this and turn him away from the stone to make it clear?
I don't know. Can you? You can talk to him.
Kratos, are you okay?
Yeah. Pretty stone.
I mean, yes, but you remember where we got it from, right? That there's something supposed to be in there. I think I told you.
Yeah.
You also
just
remember
look-
that you could bind it to another soul and you would create a god, right? And it would kill the
Yes.
person that would be transferred his conscious into the stone.
I was just looking to see if I could figure it out.
Well, I'm just saying it
Start.
seems to be like your actions would have like kind of progressed in that sense to transfer your soul into the stone. I'm not sure if that was your intention. I'm fine with that, but I don't know if you want that.
Well, it's the stone makes a whole lot more sense to me now.
Grunthos, I want you to take a +1 to any action that is in your ranger skill set. So like tracking a favorite enemy,
Oh boy.
all of those sorts of things. As you
Plus one,
To a
another
roll.
one or a bonus.
it's
Magical bonus, I presume.
yeah, it's like a
plus
magical
one.
bonus. You basically you've very surface level attuned yourself to this stone. It is granting you extra powers in the direction of your inherent nature.
So better at finding my way through my explorer places and finding my favorite enemies. Yay!
Yep. Using your this includes things like using your hunter's mark and your giant slayer. Those sorts of things as well.
So +1 damn. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. So the night passes. It's morning. You guys are in this hut. You can see kind of the camp rousing around and kind of looking curiously at the hut. The as the camp rouses around, the guys who were guarding you overnight kind of shift their position, go off to a side, and you can tell that they're going to sleep. And yeah,
Normal.
Neva comes out, and that was the elf female scout. Comes out and knocks on the wall of the hut. Yes, that is a good way to spell her name.
Okay.
Knocks on the wall of the hut and says, "The captain will see you now."
I make sure everyone is awake, and then dispel Leomund's hut. Just vanishes.
Okay. She kind of starts as it pops out of existence. And kind of scowls at you and says, "It's an interesting trick."
Well, it's not really a trick. You touched it, right?
I mean, yes.
You know it's a thing that exists at some point.
I mean, yes. But I mean,
Okay,
you're
no.
just follow me, wizard.
I'll start following her. Notice. Nudge the rest. Follow.
So she leads you all into the like central tent in this area. It's I guess you call it like a campaign tent. So
Big map.
it's a fairly big, probably 30 foot by 30 foot. Oh, there you go. 30 foot by 30 foot tent. It's got like a bunch of poles holding it up. Kind of a heavier leather, probably cow leather sides and top. You can read any language. Nice.
Yeah, I'll activate that so till next rest.
All right. So Hulk can understand the elves talking, and Striggs can read any languages. And yeah, okay.
And also understand like broken elfish, so with
Right.
like effort.
So you guys are letting in, like, the floor or the ground is covered with like nice, like the ground has been flattened under this tent, and then there are just nice rugs covering this ground. in like there are places along just below the roof line that you can see can be like lowered to let air move in and out of this place more efficiently, since it's, you know, summertime, it's kind of warm. um you can see like there are, against one of the walls, or there's a, like against the back wall, you see like soft rugs or drapes hung down, kind of making a little private space. And then in the center of this place, there is a like a pot-bellied stove, currently unlit. It's got a pot on it, or I guess you'd call it a kettle on it. There we go. That's the right word. And there is a desk behind this pot-bellied stove, and you see a older elf. He's got several like facial scars, like the tip of one of his ears, just the very tip of one of his ears, is missing, and he's got like streaks of gray in his hair. And he looks at all you as you approach, kind of stands up. All right, so one of my sergeants brings me an enigma in the form of several humans, a kobold, and a goblin, and I am to understand that you would like to speak with me.
Yes.
So speak with me.
The campaign that's been planned to take land from the Kartuk Empire won't end well.
Could I have... I want everybody to make a charisma roll. What is there? Is there like an empathy skill in this game? I don't think there is.
Persuasion, performance, intimidation, deception.
Insight.
There we go. Yes.
To see what other people.
Could I have everybody give me an insight roll, please? Horgold got it. Striggs didn't. Grunthos got it. Hollock got it. All right. So you all see like a flash across his face when you mention that. Striggs not so much, but and you get this impression from him, like how did these people find out, you know, where's our gap, how did they find out about this? He's like, all right, so supposing there was some sort of campaign to take over land from Kartuk, and as you know, I am not saying there is, but how would you know that it's going to end poorly? You know, how could you know what sort of opponents we would be up against had we actually had these plans?
Well, about the plans, you don't have to be like anything like mysterious about. I'm originally from Convergence. I know what the state is in Convergence. I know what you try to use to get an entrance there.
He gives you an eyebrow. All right.
Also, you may. It's not necessarily the campaign in itself that would end badly, but should you pursue the action of keeping that plan in motion, there will be very much less resources to assault the city of Ook. I'm certain you've noticed months are going weird.
Okay. Yes, I had noticed months are going weird. What does the undead city in the south have to do with that?
The ruler of said city is killing goddesses and birthing evil things.
Okay, but what does this have to do with convergence?
So let's just hypothetically say you do your war thingy that you may or may not be doing.
That may or I will not confirm whether or not there's any war plans going on. Continue.
We are going to Ook to try to rid the city of the undead menace.
How noble of
It's
you.
called- But we need armies. We can't clear an entire city alone. We would need diversions and whatnots.
Okay. Sure. That's fair. What does it have to do with me?
We have one army. We need at least one more, and we have a deal with one, but it won't do anything if you insist on attacking. And I know you're going.
Who do you have a deal with?
Nothing you need to worry about.
Oh no. No. I'm going to worry. And when I worry, I get angry. And when I get angry, armies march. So who do you have a deal with?
Kirsch is going to help.
Okay, so that considering who is ruling in Kirsch right now, I'm not terribly surprised that she would be on board with this terrible plan to assault a city full of undead.
Would you rather let them stay free and consume all the gods?
No, that's not what I said. Oh,
Well,
I have a
kind
headache.
of.
Right.
Or would you rather they stay alive and consume all of the world?
I mean, let's say it like this, right? What if we could like postpone this thing for at least like a year, maybe? I mean, a year as the months would have been, right? Because who knows what will happen in the coming month. I mean, you don't have to give up on your efforts entirely. We just want to have some security that in this time we're going to assault them. Well, our best option would have you join us too, and have Kirsch join us, of course. But I mean, if you were to insist, then or wouldn't assist and would like not sign anything to pause this, Kirsch would have no choice to keep their armies close as well.
Point of order. It was Kirsch was sending their armies no matter what.
Right.
That was Kartuk.
Right. Well, I mean, but I don't want to. I kind of like deceiving because I don't want to know Kartuk. Yeah.
I'm gonna give him an insight check. He is. Can I fail that horribly? Okay.
It's fine.
He thinks. All right. He's like, I can't just change plans. I do command. Strangely enough, I do command this army that you have somehow heard about, and I really, really want to know how you found out about this. But I am not the one who started this campaign. And so I am not going to be able to just tell you.
But we're assuming you have at least some influence on the person who did.
Yes.
That's why we're telling you.
Yes, I do have influence over the person who did. Or at least I can talk to them. I really, really am going to need some better information from you to convince them that what you say, going down and attacking a centuries-old undead haven, is a better idea than getting the sword off of our neck from Kartuk. So, I really need.
You got the sword at your neck from Kartuk, but you got the sword, claws, daggers, arrows, magic from the undead coming in the next year to 15, maybe, if things don't change quickly.
I might want to say this to you, but is there like a map somewhere in the room of the recent area?
So there are several like large sheets of paper that have been covered over by
Cloth?
cloths.
Right.
Like you're like, oh yeah, that would be maps that are being hidden, sort of thing. Like hidden so that you can't see what's on them, not hidden so you don't know that they're there. If that makes sense.
Right. If you don't mind, I could point out where we kind of found this. One of the leaders of this undead menace was quite close.
He digs into his desk for a little bit and pulls out a kind of a local, or he pulls out a map.
Right. And I'll point out the area where we came from. Temple.
You came from there. Nobody goes there. That is a cursed place.
Well, it definitely is now.
Eastland. He screams, and the sergeant pokes his head around the side. What has been happening in your area? These folks tell me that something terrible has gone on in the cursed land beyond our forest. Eastland, I hate talking to myself, but sometimes you gotta.
Yeah.
Eastland kind of shrugs and says, few days ago there was kind of a horrible storm off in the distance, and some, like, nobody got any sleep that night. It was like directly after the really weird where day turned into night, and everybody, like, it had a couple people get real sick. And yeah, it was like the next day, and there was a storm in the distance, and I don't know, sir. It's outside of our, like, patrol areas. Should we go find out?
I would recommend not coming
You're
too
too
close.
late.
Ooh.
Nothing else is gonna happen there for.
I mean, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it.
The captain kind of makes a motion, and Eastland nods, and heads out. You guys can hear him calling for his, like, scouts.
Make sure to get enough divine protection.
There's a pause in the yelling, and then you hear them yelling for a cleric. And then you guys see from the open door, like, them troop off into the forest, kind of disappearing. The cleric is much less good at hiding than the rest of them, so you can track them for longer. But no, they disappear in the direction you guys came from. He goes. He looks at you all and says, "All right, I'll hear from them in about 12 hours when they get there. What to do with you all for now?"
If you want, we could just hang out. You could keep an eye on us.
I don't really want you to just hang out in my command post. And
outside is fine as well.
Well, tell you what, you and I are gonna go take a little visit, and we will see how well you are, how convincing you are to my superiors. Well, superior. About this whole mess. She may have more information than you, and maybe she'll agree with you. But come on, let's go. And he heads out.
Sure.
He heads out into the main area. You guys follow him for a little bit, and there is a teleportation circle. and you see in the teleportation circle is positioned upon a fairy ring.
Can I determine the code of the teleportation circle? Or is
Ye-
it different from the ones in the main?
Give me an Arcana check, please.
Oh, can I? No, it's before rolls, so no. 10.
A 10. You don't get enough time to decode it.
Right. That's fine.
Gotta do something quick. Um. Okay. I have a question, and then once I have a response for that question, then we'll continue on.
Sneaky.
As soon as Grunto sees the fairy ring part of the thing, there's a instinctive low growl. Just like you would have to know him or be very perceptive to know that it's there.
Right. So he steps into the teleportation circle and motions for you all to follow him.
Follow him.
All right, and he goes to activate the teleportation circle, and you guys feel a burst of energy emanate from Holocall, and you are standing in a deep, dark forest. Like,
Oh no.
the trees around you are probably 30 feet in diameter and hundreds of feet tall if they're a foot. Like,
Does this look like the Fey Realm where I've been twice before?
Well, it's different than the ones you've been in twice before. Like,
I've been once in Aurora's chamber and once with the troll with the big trees on the side.
these trees here are much bigger than those.
Oh.
This is like, that was like old growth deciduous forest. This is like redwood forest. And the elf captain is like completing, he's like, he had to close his eyes to like concentrate to because he's not a mage, to cast the spell of to teleport. He's like, he completes the spell, he looks up, and he sits down, like complete and utter shock. What, how did I do? That's not, I gotta do is chant the thing, and then you hold your hands in this direction. He's like looking, he's like, there's no teleportation circle. How did we end up here? What is going on? Where, what? And he looks at all of you.
Do I understand what's been going on?
In like sheer confusion. What is your guys' reaction to this apparent change?
It depends on how similar it is to
Oh,
a
you
Fey
are
Realm.
you are certain that you are in a Fey realm.
Right.
You don't know which one or
Then
where it's at, or
Then I don't care as much. I've
okay.
got 2 good experiences, or well, good for me, not negative. Interesting, but not negative.
Did he looks at you? Did you do this? How did you put us here?
No, I still have my magic, and I will try and do some like light flames on my hand with prestidigitation.
Oh, so you,
No special.
Grunthos, you light up. This forest is deep. There are like, it's dark in the sense of there is very deep growth above you. You do not think it's night.
There's a big canopy above us.
Big canopy. Like there's kind of a little bit of filtered light, but it's really, really dim. Uh,
I
And-
notch a bolt on my short bow, or
and
not a bolt.
and in the firelight from Zerder, or not from Zerder, from Grunthos's spear, you guys see glowing eyes at about man height, and you hear like hyena laughs, and this kind of giggly barking laughter, and it's coming kind of from all directions.
I'll make my voice louder and say, "Oh, hello. What's going on?"
And the laughter grows louder. Laughter is the wrong word. But that
Tickling?
hyena calls, yeah. So it, it sounds kind of like laughter, but it's kind of like bestial. And could I get a nature roll from everybody? 12, 11.
So average.
3.
Oh, that's not average.
No, none of you can identify what this is. But after about 30 seconds or a minute of this, like the captain is picking himself up off of the ground.
I go to him and pat him on his back. Are you okay?
And he's like gives you a very sour look as he gets up. And then he stares into the distance as the laughter goes from this bang, it was building and growing stronger and stronger and stronger, and then it's silent. And there's one laugh, like picks up just a few moments and then goes silent again. And you guys all follow the course of, like, the direction of his eyes. And you see, oh shoot, I forgot the name of it. What are they? Oh, I did that monster manual. Hold on, I know what the creature is. I can picture it in my head. Cannot. I don't think that's it. No, that's not it. Hyena-headed people.
Beastmen in general.
It's a yeah, bestial humanoid or monstrous humanoid. It's not
Gnolls?
Gnolls. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Gnoll, right?
Yes. Double L, I think.
Nope. A, B, C. Damage. Making sure I'm got the right creature. D.
Normal Gnoll is a challenge rating of.
Made
Does
again,
it show a
King
half?
D. Wait a minute.
And a
Dragon,
Gnoll
not
ward.
D.
Challenge of 2.
Gargoyle, Dow. Ghouls, giants. Hold on.
Page 163.
Thank you.
Kobold Fight Club to the rescue.
Null, yes. So you guys see, stepping through the forest, the most beautiful knoll that could ever exist. They
Male, female, ungendered?
ungendered as far as you can tell, other than like standing. So you, most of you probably have never seen a knoll before, but you've seen pictures of, or like drawings of them and so on and so forth.
Yes.
So this, like, it's got these like digit grade legs, and gnolls generally are like hunched over, and like this one's standing up straight, has a just like very light dappled fur head, and it, you hear this piercing laugh as it steps out of the edge of this forest, It says, "Oh, it's good to see you again. You guys have so much to tell me. Tell me, can I eat this one?" Pointing at the elf captain.
First off, again, I don't remember seeing you.
Give me a wisdom roll, please.
Just a general wisdom roll or a save?
Just a general wisdom roll.
Oh, great. Luck it is. Oh, no.
Everybody can. Oh no! You do not
It's
recognize
fine.
this person. Everybody else can give you one too.
So yeah, I don't recognize him.
Hollick, you recognize this person.
Yeah,
Horgold
I
does
thought
not.
So.
What is with these rolls?
I bow down as deep as I could, as I can, and say greetings. Apologize for my friends and our rude and late entry, re-entry.
This
And
like
I think we will need the elf later. So
Wait,
I hope you will not eat him.
wait, hold on. This is not Aurora, is it? Hollock?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, what?
She like this baying hyena laugh pierces out across the ground and says, and she like approaches you faster than any creature should be able to cover the distance between the edge of the forest and you. And as like when she arrives next to you, her presence is very familiar, and yes, it does strike you as this is in fact Aurora. And the elf is like, eat me? No, thank you.
Can I study her for a bit from just looking? Like, how is this possible?
Knowledge
magic?
Fey.
There is no. Is it just Arcana, history,
History. With if you have like anything that helps with. I'm impressed. You don't know anything. I would give you inspiration for how horrible you're rolling.
Oh
but,
wait! I have inspiration. How can I use it?
Yes, but roll again. You don't just get the second roll of that.
Yeah, understandable. Oh no! What is happening? It's 4.
All right. So, you are under the impression that because you are in I guess you'd call it a knoll forest, that she has basically taken on a knoll form. Basically, she is reflecting the area of the Fey realm that you guys are currently in. Hollick, can I have a history roll from you with or your like some sort of Fey roll from you with advantage, please? I don't know what else.
What is a pharaoh?
Let me look at. Hold on. Let me look at your sheet.
I'm good at
History,
survival, perception, intimidation, and athletics. Everything else is bad.
History with proficiency bonus, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, give me a history roll, so 0 with your proficiency bonus, which is
4.
4. So give me a d20 plus 4.
With advantage, right? So twice.
Yes, with advantage. And take the higher of the two. 12. Well, so 16. The fact that she is not in her normal person form, but is in this null form, tells you that she is not necessarily in her part of the Fey realm. She's not far from her part. Like she's not in the so this is not the winter side of the Fey realm. Like she's not in hostile territory, but she's not in her domain inside the Fey realm. She had to take on somebody else's appearance. not exactly Grunthos. It's
parts of Fae.
so each ruler in the Fae, and she is the I guess you call the princess of the Summer Court. So she has a large section of the Fae realm that is hers, but there are other people who like swear fealty directly to her mother and not her. So she is in the realm of a person who would have been under her mother's rule directly, as opposed to her mother's rule through her. She's in some other fey creature's domain. So she is, yes. I hope how do I want to put
I
it?
understand.
She is like a duke in a kingdom who is visiting some other duchy than their own. Or she is the king of the Netherlands in the European Union, and she's visiting Germany. Is that
Very appropriate.
okay?
Well, I think most people would get that.
I hope I've conveyed it across. She sighs heavily and it's like, all right, I won't eat him, but if he ever comes back, I may. She laughs again, and you guys realize that the laughter is not humor. It's excitement. Like a hyena doesn't laugh because they find something funny. A hyena laughs because they are excited about something, or they're scared of something, or they're like they're
So I want to question with a normal tone. Like, so how did we get here? I thought we wanted to go to some of his superiors.
Because the foolish elf decided to make it easier for them to make it blah 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 blah. Because the foolish elves decided to use the network of fey rings that exist in their land to make their teleportation circles easier to use by those who aren't as skilled with magic, which works great.
But it gives you a chance to get here, I guess.
Well, there are perhaps extenuating circumstances, but she sighs heavily. Now here you are, and you have found something that mayhaps can give me back my month.
We think so.
Yes. What is it? How does it work? How can you give me back my month?
I think it's a two-part process. We have to kill an undead god and make a new one. And not undead new god. That is summer or spring.
That's okay.
It sounds complicated, and I don't know the process, but I think there are people who know how these things work, or at least documentations or some form of writing, because it has been done before, and the Lich knows how it's done, so, and he has maybe
Do you
access
maybe have
to
a library
found somewhere.
yell out?
I mean, there are libraries here, but this is not something that she kind of laughs nervously now, you can tell. So we have to kill an undead god. That seems okay, and then my head hurts, and it's been the worst migraine ever since the 2 days were gone from my from my spring, and now very well. Do
See,
you?
Island, we have that effect on everybody. It's
I-
not just you.
This is the Captain Hutch. I don't think his name was
Oh,
ever given to you. Eastland was the sergeant.
Yeah.
Sorry, Captain.
Um, he kind of looks at you all, and then his he looks down at his finger, which has a ring on it, and he goes, "That it hasn't been 12 hours," and the Aurora just laughs. And
I join her in laughing because
and he goes,
funny.
Did we notice she's sped up time in this realm?
like, you know that time doesn't work right in this realm.
Yeah.
Apparently you are in a section of fast time.
But we need more time, Aurora. Please.
Well, she isn't in control.
Oh, great.
And he like fiddles with the ring on his finger and looks back at you all and says, what you said is apparently true. There is a now festering swamp is the wrong word at the edge of our forest. 30 miles radiating out from the center of the cursed land. All right, so if the hyena would be so kind as to let us return to our own plane of existence, I have some people I need to talk to.
I mean, we would like to go with him as well, and we kind of need to help him as a part of helping you as well. I mean, we might have an idea of what is causing the months to lose as a blow pod. I don't know if you know about him.
She shakes her head.
Do you know what's going on near the city of Book? It might be different in this realm as well right now.
That is in the winter. The region around the city of Ook is in the winterlands. I do not have much visibility there, and Mab keeps a very tight. I know she keeps a very tight rein on anything traveling in or out of that area.
Might have a reason.
Yes, she has never, when she and my mother talk, they haven't, and I have been in like able to hear, they have never explained, other than they both have great concern for that part of the world. So I do not know what's going on there. My
I look at Hollock and with a like, I'll, can I cast? Does I have? No, I didn't have message. I'll just cast like a questioning looks like if we should tell her what's going on.
I don't wait. I just say to her, I can give you the cliff notes.
Why are you going to throw me off a cliff?
No.
I left.
Faye.
She laughs again. You're not sure if she's laughing nervously or if she's laughing at you or if she's just laughing because she's a hyena now.
Abu Al Fahad is a lich. Very old, very powerful, undead mage.
Sure.
He rules the city of Ook, which is permeating like miles of undead evilness around it.
Sure.
Which is probably why Mab is so guarding about what comes into her realm, if the city of Ook is in the winter parts.
Fair.
We want to try and rid the city of Ook of the undead.
Noble goal.
But all this tampering and timey-wimey wish-wash thing that's happening when we come here is really starting to put a decent dent in our efforts to try and fix this.
Fair. I can't control how time works here compared to there. Especially not here. But all right. So if you rid the world of this Abu Al Fahad, then I get my month back?
There's a
It would
very,
put a pause on
very good
losing
chance.
more months.
Yes.
Oh.
He
Oh.
found out how to kill all of the gods, and he will do so one at a time.
Oh, that seems terrible.
Correct.
But okay, so very well. You have a gift for me in your possession, perhaps? I see you carrying very powerful things that are not anathema to me. A gift would grant would a gift of such power would earn many favors from me. And she's looking at both you, Gronthos, and you. So she is looking at both of you at the same time, and you both are under the impression that she's looking at only you, and everybody else here kind of see this happening and are like, your brain is a little confused about how one person can look deep at two different people at the same time. It's like her head
Right.
is pointing in two directions identically.
Well, we might need this to get the month back. That's kind of why we have these honors. But that's a thing for the future before we can get a stop to it first. I think the stopping should take more priority than to getting something back, right? If we stop the progression, we can afterwards figure out how to get the months back with all the time in the world we have.
All the time in the world. I'm losing time.
Yes, but you're probably gonna lose more time, so we want to stop that first before gaining any time back.
She's like pacing around you now, and she's getting bigger. And you guys hear the hyena laughs start slowly like rising up in the background. And she's looking at you. She never takes her eyes off of either of you. And like she's slowly walking around you and like getting uncomfortably close.
Is it similar to the arcane eye that can look in every direction at once?
Kinda, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
kinda no. As far as you are concerned, Striggs, she is looking
At me.
at you, like deeply, never losing eye contact. You can't break eye contact even if you look down or away. You get the impression that she has locked eye contact onto you and is like holding you in deep focus. Grunthos, you are under the same impression. With your background, this is the look that a predator has when she has locked onto her prey. Like, if you've ever seen a cat crouch down and their irises grow like immense as they're like getting ready to pounce, that is the feeling that you're getting from her as she is slowly like circling closer to you, and this like laughter is building behind you, as these gnolls, like this gnoll laughter is building at the forest edge.
Look, we don't want to stay too long here. Apparently, time goes faster in this part. We kind of want to help and progress this thing. I don't know if you want to let us do our thing or just interfere with us more. I mean, we'll probably brief you more on this later, but we kind of have like a haste to get this sorted out.
if you want to try to reactivate the fairy circle that you're standing in, I would like an Arcana roll.
Sure. Can it
Um,
be a 21, a 13 of my divination plus 8 on Arcana?
Yes, it can. So as you guys are standing there, and she like hunches to pounce, and Striggs, you make a short little like incantation, not really even casting a spell, it's just a short little thing, and the still active fairy ring that you guys are in flashes, and you're standing in a forest in the middle of like, so you're standing in a forest. It looks nothing like the deep fey forest that you were just in, and the captain is again blinking and looking. Um, um,
I did it.
Eastbourne and Grunthos, you get the impression of, or the feeling of somebody like a predator has just passed through your form, or a predator has just like
Missed an attack.
just missed by just a hair's breadth.
Gee.
And it's a quiet, like normal animal sounds around you, and the hyena laughs are all gone, with just kind of the echoing in your brain of the cessation of that sound. And you are standing in a fairy ring on a teleportation circle, and there is a building off to your left, and off to your right there is a road that kind of leads to the base of a tree that has a ladder into it, that like, or not a ladder is not the right word, a spiral staircase that spirals up the tree, I guess you'd say.
Can I study the teleportation circle and the code for it? Now I have some more time.
Absolutely.
I ask the captain, spear still enhanced, spear still flaming. Is this where we're supposed to be? We were supposed.
Yes.
Not flustered at all anymore.
Oh no, he's very flustered, but he's like, he's over it. Like,
Yeah.
he's
Done with life.
he is more. You are under the impression that he is not a person who fears much, and he has just lived through a terrifying experience. So this is a person who's like
Traumatized.
his eyes are dilated. He is obviously like adrenaline is washing through his system. Like, you can tell when somebody's been through something, and they're like maintaining their composure very well, but there's that little like just the very slightest tremor in fingertips that are ready to burst into action, and the dilated eyes of like adrenaline rush, and the slightly quickened breath and that sort of thing.
Can I generate some like faint, calming musical notes for him?
Sure, absolutely.
I holster my spear and offer my hand and to try and pull him to his feet.
He'd already stood before.
Then might I suggest we go visit the person we were supposed?
Yes, please, follow me. Right this way. And he heads towards the building off the side. And he opens the door, and you guys see a lounging female form. Like, elf is the overwhelming sense, in the sense of like if somebody wanted to play an elf in a play, they would arrange this room that way.
Very stereotypical.
Very, very stereotypical, like over the top. And you kind of like the captain when he knocks and the door opens, just kind of has that little frustrated grunt when he sees the layout of the room, and he steps off the side, motions, and says, "Madam, they have a story to tell you. I believe some of it, and I'm not sure which bits of it I believe. So, yeah." And there's this like lounging elf, like, okay. So she is well dressed in green robes, long dark hair, kind of olive, like a deep olive skin, bright green eyes, bright green fingernails, and she looks over you. She looks at you, like the armor you're wearing, the weapons you have on you, and like her eyes light up, and she starts grinning, and there's a mouthful of entirely too many teeth, and she says,
Great.
Welcome to my home. It is great to meet you." And we'll go ahead and end there. So, thank you everybody for playing. Thank you all the players for playing. Thank you everybody for watching. It was great having you here. We'll be back again next weekend. Thank you all for watching. Bye.